دخلوا الخلوات دمروا الشهوات دمروا الشهوات ده الزمان وفات يا ليلى ليل ومديل القضيب والليل يا ليلى أهل اللالوبة تكي يوم حيوب أهل اللالوبة تكي يوم حيوب تكي يوم حيوبة داو الغيبوبة أهل التكية والكلام بالنية أهل التكية الكلام بالنية الكلام بالنية ديل الصوفي
Sudanese Sufi woman and Tekke's. The audience, I'm so very glad to welcome you to this new episode. Series of documentaries provided to reflect the greatest contributions that Sudanese Sufi woman has played across time, across different places inside the country. And today, we continue in this part 2 of our speech on Sudanese Sufi women and Tekke's. I welcome you and we go on further in our presentation to these important parts of our documentaries to Sudanese Sufism in general. So in Sudan, the heartbeat of Sufism is not only heard in the dhikr, nor only the teachings of the Quran. It is also felt in the gentle, tireless hands of women. The Sudanese Sufi woman, teacher, educator, poet, daughter, sister, and mother, has long been the living symbol of the Tekke. So what I would like to say to the audience, and as you follow in our series, in our varied series of introducing Sudanese Sufi women, we introduce them in varied episodes, in different presentations. Some of them are pure teacher of Holy Quran. Some of them devoted their lives to work to serve humanity in Tekke's, while some others of them, by the way, has gone further in performing social tasks, teaching, practicing midwifery, working in the Tekke's, so on and so forth. So our encounter today, we try to focus and to handle the woman contribution, the Sudanese Sufi woman contributions as part and parcel of the works inside Tekke's. So, from the birth of the Sufi Masid during the French Sultanate, that is started in the year 1504 and end by the year 1821, and until today, woman presence has never faded. In every Masid scattered across Sudan, whether in large towns or in small villages, she is there with love, sincerity, and unshakable faith, prepares meals and drinks for visitors and murids, day and night, week after week, works tirelessly, sometimes giving months or even years of her life in service to the Tekke. Some women accompany the sick to these spaces, while others dedicate themselves fully to the Masid, creating a spirit of welcome and generosity that defines Sudanese Sufi life. So what I would like to re-emphasize again that in each Sufi tariqa there is a Tekke. Tekke is there for preparing food, for providing drinks. It is there in every Masid, as I told. So that is because the visitors, the murids, are there in abundance with greater numbers, flock to Masid, seeking barakah, seeking solution and settlement to their problems, and seeking prosperity in life. So when they fall to the Masid, by the way, they ought to be hosted, they ought to be honored. So who is behind the honoring of the guests, of the murids, of the travelers? And since the past time were women. Women always present in the moment that require to be present in. So you find them always to the very late of night preparing foods, drinks to the visitors. And this is, as I told, in every Masid you find them tirelessly, without complaining, seeking only the sincere deeds, the acceptance, the sincere supplication and prayer from the Sufi. And because of this, some of them devoted their lives to be there inside the Masid, working inside the Tekke, serving humanity regardless of race, regardless of tribe, regardless of social status. For this is the true message of Islam and the true message of Tasawwuf. The audience, I would like to reminding you that I'm presenting Sudanese Sufi woman. In this part of our documentaries, just we handling Tekkes as part of Masid and as part of the Sufi tariqa in Sudan. So the rhythm of the Takaya beats strongest during religious festivals, with a special reference to the Mawlid of the Prophet, peace and blessing be upon him. During the sacred nights of Rajab, during the sacred nights of Sha'ban, during Ramadan, and during the two Eids, as well as the annual Holiya anniversary of the passing away of the Sheikh of the Sufi. We will find the Tekke alive with fire and light. Its teaching burning 24 hours a day to nourish its guests and worshippers. So as you listen to your audience, works serving, guests serving, travelers serving, murids inside the Tekke or inside the Masid is a daily routine activity. But we find that Tekke is so very busy during certain religious festivals. And here I would like to point out that during the Prophet birthday, we find that Tekke is so very busy, serving the guests, serving the visitors with food and drinks. Furthermore, we find Tekke also very busy during certain nights through the Hijri calendar, with a special reference to 27th of Rajab, 15th of Sha'ban, and during the whole month of Ramadan. In addition to that, also we find Tekke so busy, and it is fire burning 24 hours during the two Eids and throughout the annual anniversaries of the passing away of the founder of the Tariqa. So this is just part of the activities through which the Tekke works 24 hours a day.
سميت بعهد الله على كل حالة لا إله إلا الله أفضل الكلمات
About the financing of the Tekkes, which by the way requires support, require aid and help. What I would like to point out here in this particular context, that the matter and the issue of the establishment of Tariqa itself is a pure goodwill. So everything is run by the will of God. And in this regard, those Sufis represent the successor to the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessing be upon him. For they are required to remind people, to remind the creatures with the testimony that have taken upon themselves from the day of Alast. So what I would like to say here is that the establishment of the Sufi Tariqa is a pure God's will. And because of this, with the authorization that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has provided and given to the founder, then the settlement for the situation of his establishing institution, I'm referring here to the Tariqa, is under the hand of God. The assistant, the help, and the aid is there through the selected and the chosen Khalifa himself. So, and here also I would like to say that financing of the Tekke has always rested upon the generosity of the community. Charitable people, furthermore, in addition to wealthy murids, moreover, Masid visitors, as well as the projects of the Sufi Sheikh himself, the founder of the Tariqa himself. Whether these projects, farming, trading, or even crafts, all of these sources, by the way, have sustained both the Masid and its Tekke. And this is just an example. For example, I'm pointing here, by the way, to the way of financing the Tekke itself. For the Tekke, as you know, is need. It is always in needs of the things that make up and establishing at the same time help on the runs of its own activities. From another hand, across time, throughout eras, the earliest traditional Tekke has been changed according to the change of time. So time has brought change. When the Tekke relied on wood and charcoal, demanding immense effort. Today, gas and electricity is a burden. Yet, while the tools have changed, the essence remains the same: service, sacrifice, and community love. So these lines, by the way, pointing out to the idea that Tekke of the past time is no longer in our present time, changing according to technology there. People in the past time depend and relied on wood and charcoal, but for the present time, gas and electricity are there. So despite these changes, just the changes is there in the tools, while the essence remains the same. Remain there in the service of the visitors, of the murids, of the travelers. Sacrifice for them and providing them with grace and love. So the Sudanese Sufi woman embodies all of this. The Sudanese Sufi woman is the teacher who passes on Quran to the next generation, the poet who gives voice to devotion, the mother and sister who nurture her family, and the servant of God who keeps the Masid alive through her tireless work in the Tekke. She is, in every sense, the heart of Sudanese Sufism. Finally, what I would like to re-emphasize again that Tasawwuf, Islam in Sudan, is pure Sufi efforts led together by men and women, by men and women, shoulder together the responsibility throughout times, throughout different places. For the Sufi Masid Takaya is scattered around the country, and with the existence of Masid, the Tekke is there, and inside the Tekke, some important elements that is moves the life inside the Tekke is there with the women. And for this, I came to the end of our series of providing documentaries to Sudanese Sufi women. And I hope that you enjoy, you benefit from what I have done. Till seeing you in another episode. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.